In this short tutorial, I will try to give you some ideas about how you can make efficient use of the equation editor that is already built in within the Blackboard discussion board system. So when you go to discussion board and open a message, typically you will have a text box that looks like this. And you can type text, of course, in that text box. So let's say, here is how I solved question number 3. And this is where I would normally want to enter my equation. So I'm going to put some space. And the main icon you want to click on is this one, F sub x. And as you can see, that will launch the math editor. So let's do that. So this is an excellent equation editor. It's very easy to use. So as you can see, if you click on each of the tabs, you will see different symbols and notations that you have access to. So let's say I'm going to start with the first one. Say I want to have f of x equals, I click in the box, f of x equals. So if I want to type an exponent, I'll click on this icon up there. So x to the power of 2. So first I had to type the base and then I type on that icon, the superscript icon. So now I can put the power and then use the arrow key to come down from the power. Say x squared plus 5 is our function. I press enter. Let's say that we have another function we need to enter. This time you have a fraction that you need to enter. So we can say f of x equals, and here is the fraction symbol. And you can type whatever you want on the top. Let's say x squared. Now I've found that a shortcut key to get an exponent, again, you can either use this one right here, or you can type the x and then use control upper arrow. That gives you the space for the power. So I'll put x cubed, use the right arrow key to come down. Let's say plus y cubed. So I will type the y, control upper arrow gives me an exponent location. So I'll say y to the 4, everything divided by, at the bottom, I click on the bottom box. Let's say x to the 2nd power. Again, I'll do x, control upper arrow, let's do the 2nd, let's say. Now, if I also want to include something like a square root, again, you have your square root sign. If I want to include something like a cube root, then I would use this one. And this time you would enter the index, the root, and the expression you want to enter inside the root. So really, there is all sorts of things you can do here. And in this class, we're going to be using, let's see, you may need some of these symbols, especially infinity, pi might be very helpful. If you want to clearly show the product between two expressions, let's say x, here is a little multiplication sign, times y. And trying some of the different tabs up here. On this tab, you'll find your Greek symbols. You might use theta quite a bit in this class. Other than that, again, pi is right there. And you might use some other ones as well, but those are the ones that we're going to use most often, theta and pi. We're not going to use that much with the matrices, so I'm going to skip that one. So once again, you have different formats for your fractions, but again, play with these tabs at the top, see what's available. But in this class, some of the options that we're going to need quite a bit are, for example, the summation notation. So there is your summation, and then you can fill in, let's say, as I goes from 1, and click on the top to infinity, and our infinity was way over here. And in here, you would normally type whatever your expression is. Let's say I squared minus 1. I control upper arrow square, come down, minus 1. If you have a fractional quantity, like I'm going to go ahead and highlight this entire fraction, and you want to include that entire fraction in parentheses, you can click on this decorations tab, they call it up here at the top, and click on the one with parentheses. Automatically it will place that expression inside parentheses. Another thing we're going to use in this class is in the very last tab. This is really all the calculus essentials are hidden in this last tab. So for example, we're going to learn about how to do integration. So you can click on integration symbol and notice there are different variations, some with the limits, upper and lower limits, and over here some that has no limits for indefinite integration. So you can pick the appropriate sign. In Calc 3 you're going to learn about double integrals, and notice you also have your trig functions, but you can also just type these directly from the keyboard. You don't need those. So let's just enter an integral. So let's say we're going from 1, click in the upper box, to 5. And let's say that we want to integrate. We need a fraction. So I'm going to go to the beginning one. Let's say dx divided by x squared plus 1. And you will also notice in this last calculus tab that there is a symbol for differentiation. Again, we're going to learn this in Calc 1. So like d of something over d of something. If you click on that, it's a quick way of getting a derivative. So like for example, if you want dy over dx, we're going to learn this probably by the second week. So this is a quick way to type those types of things and entering the values quickly. And you have also the limit notation, which is going to become very handy early on. If x is going towards infinity, there is your notation, and here you would enter your entire function. And if x is going towards a constant, then you can choose the bottom limits, and there you have to click in the box and actually enter, let's say x is going towards, and the arrow key is hidden here. X is going towards 2, let's say, and then you can enter whatever the function it is that we need to enter. Another important thing to know is that you can use copy and paste. So for instance, if I want to make just a slight change in this expression, I can go to the first tab, and there's a lot of simple word processing type of tools in here. So for example, you can copy, except it doesn't like to click on it, so we have to do Control C to copy. Then come on down and do Control V. And it looks like nothing is happening, right? But then you click on that line once again, and there the expression appears. And perhaps you want to simplify something or make one little change. Maybe you realize from going from one step to another, maybe you were going to factor out a quantity. In this case, there's nothing to factor, but if you're going to make one little change, you can find that if you copy and paste, you just make one little change from line to line. That will actually be very helpful to be able to do that. Other than that, again, you can change colors of things. If you want to highlight a certain quantity, a certain equation, I don't know why some of it is black, but you can change the font size by coming here and changing the font type. I want to keep that as it is, but change the size to, let's say, 14, maybe 18 to make it a little bit bigger. It looks like the default is 18, so I'm going to make it 20 to make it even bigger. And then once you're ready, once you like the equation, the way it looks, you can just click on Accept. And it will take a few seconds, and there it is. It appears on the screen. And remember to title your message something relevant to the problem itself. So here I'm going to say group activity, let's say 1.2, problem number 3. So that way other people searching your solutions about this problem can easily locate it. Now I've noticed that this is something I wanted at the very top, but right now it's appearing in the middle. So what I can do is I can just press enter. So now my message is at the top and the equations are at the bottom. And before you post it, if you'd like to see what it's going to look like, click on the preview link on the upper right. So all the things that we've done are appearing there. And suppose that you realize there is a mistake and you need to fix the mistake. You don't need to delete everything and retype everything. Thank goodness for that. Just click on the entire equation and then go back and click on the f sub x function or the equation integer symbol once again, and it will open with all those equations in there. So then you can make one little change that you need to make, and then you can click accept. By the way, here within the equation editor, you can also type an explanation, and now I can click on accept, and we hope that the changes will be reflected, and there it is. So I hope that that gives you a quick introduction to using the equation editor, and ultimately it really comes down to, playing with it and typing different problems, and you'll get better and better each time you use it. Now I'm going to go ahead and submit this. So there is my message with the message heading that we entered. So I'm going to go into that and check to see what it looks like, exactly how we entered it. And let's just say that there's a mistake I realized. And again, I want to fix it. So I'm going to go back to Edit and say the mistake was in the equation. Once again, you can click on the entire equation and click on F sub x. And here you can make any changes that you like. Maybe this was not a 7 but a 9, and then accept. And then you can submit the entire thing again, and the changes will be reflected. And also, one other thing I'd like to show you is sometimes you may find it easier to write a solution by hand, and then just to go to the attachment option. So just take a picture of your work and email it to yourself, download it to your computer, and then from there you can upload it here. Browse my computer, and then you can just go ahead and enter it and then submit. So that's another way to enter an equation, a solution, by writing it by hand and then taking a picture of it. So at the moment I don't need that. I'll delete or close it and submit with the changes. So hopefully you find this tutorial helpful. And like I said, the best way to learn how to use the equation editor is to dive right in and start using it.